You've talked to Border Patrol agents. Can you tell me what you've seen, what you've heard from Border Patrol agents?
Yeah, I've been there 4 times in my first year, the first 14 months here in this Congress. Thank you, Congressman Boebert, and thank you, Congressman Perry. You know, February a year ago was the largest February in terms of illegal border crossings in the history of the country. We had 101,000 cross, some 3,000 a day in February a year ago. We exceeded that by 64% this most recent February. We went from 101,000 to 165,000. Now, it's so bad with what this president has allowed to happen in the last year. 165,000 a month doesn't sound like a really bad month for this president. That's because, again, it was 101,000 last February, but it increased as the year went on to where it was some 200,000 a month later on into the year, as we know, and 2 million in the first year this president was in office. And then, as others have already pointed out, with him rescinding Title 42, I guess he was afraid, well, that's a policy, a law that might help repel some illegals back across the border, might allow us to return some if we actually would enforce the law. So we're rescinding Title 42, which has already been said will take it from 7,000 to 2.5 times as large. 18,000 a day is the average, 500,000 in the first 30 days. This president is on pace for some 10 to 15 million illegal entries into our country in his first and hopefully only term. I was in a budget hearing today with you, Congressman Boebert, where we had Secretary Becerra there, the HHS secretary, which, as you know, has been called in. HHS has been called in not to help stop the border crossings, but to help facilitate those. Right. And I asked him today, I said, who do you think should be let across our border, or who should be prevented from going across our border? Are there any restraints you would put upon anyone that wants to come across our border? So do you think everyone should be able to come across illegally? And he said, well, quote, we're talking about violating the law. You're saying it's illegal. Why would we permit anyone to violate the law? Our president is violating the highest law of the land, the Constitution that we all, and he swore to uphold. Article 4, Section 4 says the United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government and shall protect them against invasion. As we look to next year, I want to go on record and say, some of you are on articles of impeachment with me. Lauren, Congressman Boebert, you've drafted those. How do we declare this the public health emergency that it is, the national security crisis that it is, the health crisis that it is, the social services crisis that it is, the education crisis that it is, and the unlawful process that it is, and not hold this president responsible when we have the House majority, Lord willing, a year from now? How can we not impeach this president?
I agree with you. That absolutely needs to be brought up in the next Congress. Now, these appointed secretaries, they really have turned our Border Patrol agents into travel agents. They're being shipped all throughout our country, these illegal immigrants, and every state is now a border state. You're from Virginia. We have Ralph Norman here from South Carolina. I'm from Colorado. But someone who has a front seat view here, the gentleman